Hey everybody, it's Zach from Myshire Farm, and today we're going to go through the entire process of balutes. I did a video about one of the most profitable ways to make money off of your quail, and it is in a playlist. I'll put that in the description, but we were talking about balutes. But I do want to go through the entire process. You can watch that video to kind of explain what balutes are and where to get customers from and things like that. Today we're just going to go through the process of actually doing the balutes. So they've been in the incubator for 12 days. Some people want them for 10 days, some people want them for 14, but typically the majority of the time it's a 12-day balut. And so it is time to candle. So we're going to use an IncuBrite candler. This is what we have found as the best candler to use for quail eggs. We offer these on our website and Amazon store, and then we're going to use a 30 count carton and box them all up. But we've got, what was it, 3,300 balutes that we've got to candle and get ready for. And so we're going to show you how we candle, and at the end, when we box everything up, I'm going to kind of explain the whole process. So here we go. All right, so we're in the brooder room. It might be a little loud, but we've got a bunch of babies over here. So our process is a little bit different. We do, like I said, today we're going to be candling for 3,300 balutes. So we've got a whole process here. So I'll be here. I'm going to candle a tray. These trays hold like 221 eggs each. And then when I'm done with this tray, the ones that were not fertilized or the ones that didn't develop all the way will go in here. The rest stay in. I turn around, put it on top of the brooders, and then George and Kat will start putting them together into these. So that's what we'll do. Another thing that you'll want to know about is we typically have a rule of thumb that we put in 20% more. So for example, we have an order for 3,300 balutes, so we needed to put in right under 4,000 balutes just to be safe. Now, we usually, almost always, unless there's an incubator issue, always have extra, but that's okay for us because we can just hatch those out and use them for something else. Or we call them and say, hey, we have an extra 400 balutes for you. Would you like those? And usually they do. So that's just a thought as well. So the rule of thumb is you want to put in an extra 20% of what is ordered. Typically, if you're starting out, 12 days is ideal. But let's get into this, and then we'll go into more after we're done. All right, so far, we're looking great. Of course, I didn't knock on wood, so. So I will show you just real quick. This one is kind of tricky. So like if it's in here, like if it's turned like that, it almost looks clear all the way through. But as you can see, there's a full one in there. So that one's okay. And let me find one that's not real quick, and then, okay. So this one, you do see the air sac from the top. Okay, can you see that on there? All right. But you can also tell that the whole thing is clear. So that one is bad. What we're looking for, this one's a good one to actually look. So the air sac, but you see all those veins, that is ideal. And obviously not all of them are going to develop. Some of them might die in the shell while developing, which is why you want to put extra in. So we have a lot of eggs to candle real quick. So when we're done with that, we will show you the end product, and then you'll go with me on our deliveries, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, so we're finally done. That took a little bit of time, but we've got stacks of 100. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So we've got 3,300 balutes. We had an extra 240 eggs, somewhere around there. So we're gonna box these up, and I'll show you the end product with that, and then I'll take you in the car, we'll drop some off, and then we're gonna go to the office, and I'm gonna give you a rundown on some things to think about when you sell balutes, such as timing, what to do once they're cartoned up, how much to charge. We're gonna talk about all of that in a little bit, but I kind of wanted you to understand the experience a little bit. So this did take some time. I can't remember the last time that we've had this many at once. We've had more than this going on at one time, but all at once, it's been a while. So that's the end result, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, so we're back, and we did box up all the orders, so you can kind of see here all the different orders. We've pretty much got 6 drop-offs today, and so I'll be gone for quite some time. We do free delivery on the Baluts, but again, they order in bulk. So I'm going to give you a couple tricks that we're doing right now, and then I'm going to take you on the ride with me to show you the drop-offs, and then we're going to go into the office and I'm going to give you some tips on when to candle, when to box them up, when to take them, how to schedule them, things like that, to try to help you with your business. But one thing that we do is so we have 24 count cartons and we have 30 count cartons. We were filling up the 30 counts, but they usually like to divvy them up, so now we skip a row, and so there's 25. So that means every 4 of these is 100, and they tend to actually like that a whole lot more. So that's one thing we do. We just use regular post office boxes, so nothing special at all. We don't put our labels on it or anything like that. This is strictly drop-off Baluts, and they do whatever they want with them. We can, as you can see, we can fit up 300 in a box. So we literally just fill them up like that and then hand deliver them and take the money, and then we're good to go. So I've got all the addresses. We've already confirmed. We will talk about taking payment and taking confirmations and getting addresses and all that. We'll talk about that in the office when I get back, because there's a lot of small little details that I think will help a lot. But we're going to load these up in the truck, and then I'm going to go spend $900 in gas. So we'll see you in a little bit. Hey, so I just made the first drop off and asked them a couple questions. They couldn't get on because they were working, but I found it kind of interesting. So I asked them what they were going to be doing with them, as far as like when, was there a party coming up? Because that was quite a bit of Baluts for one person. And they said that a bunch of them in the office bought them all together, and so they'll divvy them up. And so I said, so do you put these in the fridge when you get home, or do you leave them on the counter, or do you eat them tonight? And they all said that they will leave them on the counter on room temperature for up to 3 days. So they'll consume them within the next 3 days. So I found that kind of interesting. I'm going to ask the same questions, plus I asked a couple more questions, but I'm going to ask the same questions to each drop-off. And when I get back, when I'm giving you some information as far as how to prepare them, I'll also give you those questions and what each one answered and see if there's any differences. So hopefully you'll find this interesting, and we will see you in a little bit. Thanks. Hey everybody. All right, so we're back. I'm in the office, and we're going to go over some tips and tricks for you. And hopefully you stayed with me, because I have some good information coming your way as far as the Balut business goes. So first and foremost, we've talked numerous times about the 12-day. That's kind of where you want to start, and then you can kind of, maybe they're too big or too small, and then you fluctuate around that. But 12 days is ideal. And then I cannot stress enough that you you candle, you box up, and you take them to that customer the same day. So I did ask a couple of questions to my drop-offs, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But just because they might leave them on the counter for a day or two or 3 doesn't mean that we need to give them as much time as possible to make sure that they're healthy and safe to eat. So I can't stress enough to drop them off the same day as you candle. If you need to, if it's a desperate situation, you could candle the day before, like on day 11, and then box them up and put them into lockdown or something. We have done that before with no issues, but typically it's the best process to just do it all at one time, get it done, and then let them be. So I did want to give you that. Now, as far as pricing goes, I think everywhere is a little bit different. I know that there's someone in the West Coast that sells them for 80 cents each. I know someone down south that sells them for 25 cents each, and then we sell them for 50 cents each. And that is free delivery, but they do have to buy a certain amount. And we've had the same customers for years and years and years. So we want to make sure that they're taken care of as well. So I think that your market will determine what price they need to be at. My biggest suggestion that I could give you is find one customer that's interested, give them some for free, and say, hey, you know what, I'll give you these for free. In return, give me some feedback. How much would you pay? What do you think is reasonable? Talk it out with them, and don't be scared to negotiate with that person. So, you know, they might say, oh, well, you can sell them for 30 cents. Well, I need to make 50. I don't know if I buy 50. Okay, well, you know, and then talk it out, okay? But that would be a suggestion that I would give you as well. That's pretty much it as far as the process goes. I do not recommend refrigerating. I've had that question a lot. I don't recommend refrigerating at all. You need to remember that they're going from pretty much 100 degrees to room temperature fairly quickly, and then if you put them in the fridge, they can start busting and cracking and things like that, and you do not want that in your fridge. The best thing to do is just all one motion. Now, I did ask him a couple of questions, and I found it quite interesting, so hopefully you will as well. The first question I asked is, why are they purchasing? Like, do they only eat these for special events? Are they snacks? Whatever the case may be. And that question was answered by any and all above. Yes, they do have them at weddings usually. They have them at any sort of celebration or party. That's pretty much a given. But they also have them just for snacks or for family coming into town or whatever the case may be. So it could be any time of the year, which is nice to know. So they'll eat them anytime, all year round. The second question was how long do they have them before they boil them and eat them? And it was anywhere from same day to 5 days. The person that did say 5 days, well, let me back up. All of them said that they do not refrigerate them. They put them on the kitchen counter and let them sit until they're ready. So no customers that I have talked to refrigerate them at all. The 5-day person said that sometimes they can spoil. So it sounds as though, and I am not an expert at eating balutes, but it sounds as though that day 3 is safe, day 4 is probably okay, and day 5 is pretty iffy, is what it sounds like. But I'm not too sure. They said that they've went up to 5 days, and some of them are bad. You can kind of tell, you can smell them, and so they won't eat those. So I asked them, you know, do you eat them earlier as well? And they said, yeah, we can eat them. I mean, there's been times where we've dropped them off at parties before, and they've had them going a couple hours later or an hour later. So they can eat them as early as you drop them off to up to 5 days, but it sounds as though the rest of the people said 3 days. So everybody else said 3 days is perfect. Room temperature, sit them on the counter, they're good to go. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. I did ask about price. So like I told you, we do free delivery, and we drive around up to 50 miles, but again, the quantity determines how much we'll drive. So if they do less than our minimum amount, then they would have to pick up or do a $25 delivery charge. So that's how we do it here. I'm not saying that you have to, but I did ask them about price. We have increased the price back in January. We increased the price just because of feed costs, and they said they completely understood. Now, we did explain that to them. We sent a text out to all of our customers saying, you know, this is what's going on. They had already heard it on the news that, you know, prices were going up and this, that, and the other, so they were prepared. But they said that they felt like the prices were reasonable. They all said that they would like them for less money, of course. There was a couple of them that was a little bit more open with me, and they said that they would probably go up to about 65 cents each, especially with the free delivery. That's very helpful to them. So all of them said that the free delivery was very, very convenient. They really liked that, and that they would be willing to pay more of a premium because of that. So if that helps you, there you go. So it sounds as though 4 out of 5 of them said that I could charge more if I needed to, and that would be okay with them. And they would still order the same amount and the same frequency. The other person said that 50 cents is about the max that they'd want to go. And I feel like getting new customers in, 50 cents is our sweet mark for us here. And we're okay with that price because they buy so much in bulk and they order all year. The last thing I wanted to talk about is when do they buy? Like I said, it's all year. It does get a little bit busier around major holidays, but typically Thanksgiving, so beginning of November to about the middle of March is when we get the majority of our customers, of our orders. All of them order at that time, and then they sprinkle order throughout the year, is what I'm trying to say. But through that time, there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, there's this, there's that. And then obviously it's a big Asian market, Vietnamese market. So they have they celebrate different holidays at different times as well. Plus they celebrate, our traditions as well. So that's typically the big time to get the massive orders in. But they do sprinkle out throughout the year. And then I asked all of them, here's the last question for you, and hopefully this has really helped. I really hope it has. The last question I asked all of them was, what was the most important about the whole process, about ordering? Was it the ease of order? Was it being able to get a hold of us? Was it, free delivery? Was it the price? Was it the product? What was it? And all of them said it was the customer service. They all said that it was, they order and within a day or two we respond and work the details out. We contact them when we put the eggs in to the incubator to let them know a delivery date, and we follow up with them through the whole process. They said they really, really enjoy that. So I thought that was interesting that was unanimous. The last thing I wanted to talk about was how to determine how you're going to do it. So we've changed our processes throughout the years a lot. They used to pick up, we didn't offer delivery, and then it kind of turned into, they're working and they really need them delivered, and then we found out that delivery was kind of important. And so we've stumbled all along the way to find our perfect process, but that doesn't mean that our process is perfect for you. There's many different ways to do it. So obviously, you could say that it's 2 different prices, one's with free delivery, one's with not, or we don't offer them jumbo eggs. They get standard eggs from us. All of our jumbo eggs get shipped out or incubated, one or the other, but we don't do any balutes or any eating eggs for jumbo eggs. All of those are for our customers online. Now that doesn't mean that you have to do that. There's many different ways to do that. Now the reason why I like to do standards for the balutes is because they're much more consistent layers. I know what I'm getting, and they're all fairly around the same exact size egg-wise, where the jumbos can vary quite a bit. So to me, standardization, across the board is more important to me than, having them have one really big or one really small or whatever the case may be, or a mix of both. So here's a couple of things that other people that are selling balutes are giving me feedback on. And that is that some people are doing 2 different price points. They're doing the jumbo price point and they're doing the regular size price point. They are saying it's farm pickup, or they do a delivery charge. Now I personally like to when I'm talking to a new customer or advertising, I like to say free delivery. And that really gets to them a lot more, I think. But again, there's many different ways to do it. And like I said, I think that you're going to have to fumble around a little as well as far as finding the right price point for you. Because you don't want to undergo and not make the money that you could be making and miss out, but you also don't want to charge too much and you get a customer one time and they won't come back, or whatever the case may be. And the best advice that I can give you is follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, right? So, when you get a new customer, let them know the whole process, when you're putting them in the incubator, what day you'll be delivering or what day they're allowed to be picked up, when you candle, letting them know that they're ready to go, having them ready when they arrive, or trying to set up a time to meet. And then, about 5 to 7 days later, contact them back. We primarily use text messages. We hardly ever use or answer our phone anymore, but we pretty much just text them 5 to 7 days later and say, hey, just hope that they enjoyed. And sometimes they'll give us feedback and say, hey, there was probably about 10 or 12 in here that didn't develop or wasn't big, or nothing in them or whatever. And that gives us, that makes sure that we look a little bit closer next time. And then there's some times where they go, it is perfect, it is right on. And then there's other times where they say, the chicks were a little too small, or they were a little too big. And then we can go into, okay, well, why don't we try to incubate for an extra day? Or let's incubate 1 day less, or whatever the case may be. And that's really how you're going to get really good at it. And that's what we've done for years upon years upon years. And that's how we have our process. So you can take some of these principles and use them if you would like. But the point of this is try to get you just started, and then you can kind of fumble along until you find your process. I hope that it helps. Remember, every Sunday and Monday I go live right here on our YouTube channel, Myshire Farm, to do a live question and answer. So if you have any questions about the Balut process, about Quail for Profit, or anything to do with Quail, feel free to jump on there. We'd love to have you. If you can't make it to those, then feel free to comment below. And if you have any questions, and I will be happy to answer as soon as I possibly can. And thank you very, very much for watching. I know this video went a little long, but I wanted to give you as much information as possible in one video so that it might help. So thank you very, very much. And as always, everybody, until next time, stay safe.